This is BigManBakar. Welcome to RotoWire's latest pre-deadline stream for Gameweek 21. We're hours away from the Gameweek 21 deadline, and with games coming thick and fast, it's quite a chaotic schedule for content creators, but it's thoroughly enjoyable, and it's one which I think is quite important because with the game weeks coming so quick, it's very important to be in a position where you can then we can then maybe go for a better rank later and build a foundation to attack the doubles and blanks that are to come. Anyway, I will be with you for the next 30 minutes. And if you have any questions, make sure to send them in. I'm here not to talk about my own team like I usually do. You've heard enough of me ramble about my team, but today's stream is for you, your questions before the deadline. We already have 3 questions coming in, so make sure to send in all your questions and I will make sure to respond to them to the best of my ability for the next 30 minutes. Jason is asking, would you gamble on Saka out for Shada? I don't think I would sell Saka, and I don't think I'd get Shada because I think Brentford's best fixtures are gone. And even though the home fixture against Sunderland is good and I expect Brentford to win, but after this week, I feel as if Shada will probably be a transfer out. And I also don't think I would sell Saka. He's had his rest. I can see him playing at least all the Premier League games in January. And then he can be a transfer out for Fernandes or Palmer if need be. So, yeah, Saka, I think, is someone I would hold on to. Next question is, what are your thoughts on triple captain Haaland this week? I think I would leave the chips for now. And this applies to every chip across the board. So the general rule of thumb is that just use the chips in the blanks and doubles. There's no need to use the chips right now. I can understand the appeal of using the chips because you might be in a position where you're lagging behind your rivals or you might not be satisfied with your rank. But I feel as if the chips are best used and optimized later during the blanks and doubles. Asad is asking, keeper sell Ekitike. Okay, so I was hoping that we'd get a Liverpool press conference today, but actually it's going to happen tomorrow. So we're not going to hear anything on Ekitike before the FPL deadline. It seems quite unlikely that we do. And I think that if you can afford to keep him, I would probably just keep him and hope that he's fine. Because Liverpool are playing Burnley at home in Gameweek 22, and I would want my Liverpool assets to be available for that fixture. So I think this applies to Szoboszlai, this applies to Virgil, as disappointing as they've been. I just don't think I would sell them before a home game against Burnley in Gameweek 22. Asad is asking Paqueta and Minte to Tavernier and Wilson, or keep Paqueta for long term. I think Paqueta has actually been pictured in training. So even though he's a doubt, I think he's probably going to start this week. I think Minte to Tavernier makes a lot of sense. I think I really like that transfer. Now, Minte is a big doubt for the next game, and I'm not really sure about his minutes going forward anyway. And Brighton's best fixtures are over. So getting Tavernier is like a really, really good buy this week. I think if you're looking for a budget mid to buy, basically a Minte replacement, or if you're looking to sell Wirtz, for example, I think that Tavernier is a great buy. Kluivert is injured. Semenyo is going. So I expect Tavernier to be on set pieces. He might potentially even be on pens once Semenyo is gone. So Tavernier, for his price, he's 5.6 million. He's an excellent pick, and he's someone I might potentially look at next week as well. Ben is asking, bench Sanchez or Dubravka? I have to start Anderson. I would bench Dubravka, I think, because Sanchez, his clean sheet odds against Fulham are slightly higher than Dubravka's against Man United. Next question, should we target fixtures or look for long-term strategy? Target teams which have the best fixtures over a 4 to 6 game week period. That's what I would say. I think it should be a blend and mix of being a long-term strategy. At the same time, you're looking at fixtures, not for the short term, but for the medium term. Asad is asking, wildcard windows, looking at wildcard Gameweek 24. I think by Gameweek 24, we will probably have some sort of idea whether Arsenal are likely to double in Gameweek 26. And if they do, then obviously that changes a lot of things. Currently, I'm not looking to wildcard anytime soon. I think 24, at this point in time, it looks as if it's quite premature to wildcard in 24, but depending on the information that emerges, it might become an option. Start Petrovic or Raya. Raya, I think I would start Raya. Best defense in the league, and Liverpool have looked quite blunt this season. So I won't be too surprised if Arsenal kept a clean sheet this week. I think it's an okay fixture for Arsenal. It's like not exactly a very bad fixture. Make sure to send your questions in. We've had quite a few questions already, but I'm taking as many as I can for the next 25 minutes. So make sure to send them in quickly. Bowen or Mateta? Neither. I mean, Mateta might become a pick now. The fact that there will be, the small break, and Palace have looked knackered in recent weeks, and the fact that now I saw the Palace Twitter page post a picture of their players training, and apparently quite a few are coming back soon. So I feel Palace will be rejuvenated, and Ketia is injured as well. So Mateta is probably better than Bowen. Bowen got defensive contributions last week, but that just goes to show if a forward is getting defensive contributions, that shows that the attacking output is likely to be minimal, because the vast majority of the game is spent defending. Next question is Wilson or Ekitike. What do you think about Ekitike for a long time? If you're playing one this week, I think I would play Harry Wilson. I would keep Ekitike for the Burnley game with the view of selling him right after. JD is asking, sell Thiago after the hat-trick or keep? Why would you sell Thiago this week? It's a good fixture at home to Sunderland. He's expected to start. And I think he's fine to keep. I think there's more for discussion next week, because next week he's playing Chelsea away, and then the fixtures Forest at home, and then the fixtures really turn bad. So I think selling Thiago might be a point of discussion next week onwards. But this week, I think he's a fine hold. I see people buying Thiago. Why would he sell? I was actually one of the unlucky ones that actually benched Thiago last week. I kept him. I showed the faith. I played him pretty much every week where he blanked, and then when he got the hat trick, I had him benched. So yeah, he's not been kind to me. Do you think Wilson is a long-term buy? No, I don't think so. Fulham's fixtures at this point aren't exactly all that great. So I think Wilson is a fine hold if you have him, but if you want to buy a midfielder, I would rather get Tavernier. Which one to play, Sabosla or Xhaka? I would play Sabosla. He's on pens and set pieces. Xhaka doesn't have pens, so that's the difference. Is Patrick Dorgu a good FPL asset? I mean, he's okay to have this week. He's probably going to start against Burnley, but after that, he's going to be expendable. Next question is Sebastian. Sell Ekitike for Thiago. This is interesting, and this is actually quite team dependent. I want to touch a bit on this, because ideally, I think I would keep Ekitike for the Burnley fixture, like I mentioned. But I think there's a world where you can also downgrade him to a cheaper forward, like let's say Krupi Jr. or Matthias Mane, and use those funds to get the likes of Gabriel, Palmer, Fernandez in the upcoming weeks. So I think I like the idea of selling Ekitike to a dead striker if you're selling him. But selling him to Thiago is a bit too short term, because as I mentioned, for my team, I'm going to play him this week at home to Sunderland. Gameweek 23 has home to Forest. So these two fixtures are nice. But next fixture is Chelsea away, which is a fixture which I'm benching him in. And in Gameweek 24, there's like a very, very high possibility that I end up selling Thiago. So buying Thiago right now might be a bit too short term. That's the way I feel about it. I also benched him when he came for Ekitike. I mean, that's just very good luck. Raptor saying thoughts on Roof as a Raya replacement. I don't think I would sell Raya. I think a lot of people are looking at selling Raya with a view of bringing Gabriel. I assume that's probably why you're doing it. Or maybe you're probably fed up because the returns have dried. But I feel as if Arsenal's defense is still the best in the league, and Raya is just a very convenient set and forget for an elite defense. Next question, get Gabriel now. Also, would you sell Gehi for him or Senesi? I think I would sell Gehi. I think Senesi is okay to hold. The fixtures are not that bad from this point onwards, and he's better than Gehi for DEFCONs. So I think I would sell Gehi for Gabriel at this point. Best 4.5 million forward, Krupi or Mane? This is interesting, and I think we might get some more information on this next week, because if, let's say, Kluivert is injured, if Semenyo is going, then Krupi's minutes might rise by default. So I'm actually quite curious to see how this works out. In case that Krupi doesn't look like an option, Matthias Mane is looking great, and obviously, given the performance that he put in at the weekend, I would be quite surprised if he was to be benched or miss out in the short term this week. At the same time, I would also like to mention that I mentioned about a potential double for Arsenal Gameweek 26. I think Wolves will be the other team that will double if Arsenal end up doubling, in which case delaying this decision to buy a 4.5 million forward might be better, because then you can assess if Wolves have a double, then you just buy Mane instead of Krupi. Next question is, thank you, Bigman. I really love your content. It feels really differential and refreshing. I have learned a lot from you. We are having a smashing season. Hope you finish in the top one. Thank you very much. I'm very, very overwhelmed and grateful to hear your thoughts. And thank you very much for liking the content. I would appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, like the stream. This applies to everyone across the board who are watching. So thank you very much. Very grateful. Next question is, do you think having one forward is a good idea? This is what is in my head. If not, then who is the second one to keep and forget? I think it is doable. It is doable for sure, because there are a lot of midfielders, and going heavy on defense is also a fine idea. Given the lack of, let's say, appealing forwards available, I think it's quite a fine alternative. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go ahead with it. I feel as if you're probably better off leaving that decision for a couple of weeks, because I feel as if some information will emerge which will make that decision easier. I don't think you have to commit to, let's say, having just the one playable forward, which would be Haaland from this point onwards. Next question is, start Tavernier or Dalot? I think I would probably go with Tavernier. It's actually a tricky one. I expect both of them to score sort of similarly, but I just think that Bournemouth have a slightly higher chance of getting an attacking return as opposed to United getting a clean sheet. I just can't trust United for clean sheets. Any plans to launch your own channel? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Currently, this season, I won't be having my own channel because my schedule is such that my content keeps me occupied as it is. Next question is, bench one, Dorgu, O'Reilly, Mukiele, and Van Dijk. I would bench Van Dijk from those. I think he has the worst fixture of the lot. Next question is, Mitoma potential transfer, have Anderson. I think I'm done with Brighton assets for a while, if I'm being totally honest, because their minutes are not exactly certain. Mitoma's just come back from injury. I'm not exactly sure how nailed he is. He's been quite a credible FPL asset over the years, but this time around, I'm not really sure. Especially the fixtures are not good enough to warrant going there. I think in that price bracket, if you don't want to go for Tavernier, then just go bowling with Elliot Anderson. That's probably what I would do. Speaking of Brighton assets, I mean, I'm selling one Heke this week, so I'm currently sitting on 5 free transfers with my team, and my team is such that I don't exactly have an obvious move to make this week. And I think that because of Brighton's schedule, I am probably going to sell one Heke, even though he's been an absolute goat, literally, for me this season. But he's just delivered points week in, week out. But yeah, I'm looking at selling him as well. Next question is, Foden to Turkey to fund Gehi to Gap. No, I would not sell Foden. I think Foden has underwhelmed, and I can sort of see the frustration which is boiling over for a lot of people who are now contemplating the idea of selling Foden. But I think that Foden is just an easy hold as long as he's getting minutes, which I expect he will, because the fixtures are okay, and the lack of options are such that Foden is quite important to the rest of the team. Next question is from Fahad, where he sent me his entire team. One free transfer, bank 0.8 million. I'm going to find it really hard to come up with an idea with just having a quick look at that. But I feel as if you're in a good position to save, actually, if you can, because you sent me 11. I don't know the squad, but I think you're in a good position to save. And I actually want to say this out loud this week, that the general rule of thumb, whenever I'm sort of reviewing a team this week or looking at a team this week, is that I'm recommending people to save. Now, this is obviously assuming that they don't have fires to put out, like, let's say, Minte or let's say Guardiol, people like that who are injured. But if you have a decent enough team with no injuries, then I think this is actually a really, really nice week to save, because I've mentioned that having free transfers in the weeks to come will be absolutely critical. So, for example, to get Bruno Fernandes, Cole Palmer, I think Cunha will be a sell next week. Cunha is quite popular as well. And there might be some information that might emerge on a potential double game week into game week 24 as well. So I see transfers being quite precious, and I generally just don't like seeing a lot of people just spunk their transfers for no reason at all, which has been the case since the award of the 5 free transfers in game week 16. So if you can hold on to your free transfers, this is hands down the way to go this week. Like, there's no argument in my opinion. Next question, Minte to Tavernier. Yes, Minte is injured. I think I've spoken quite a lot about Tavernier in the stream already. I would do Minte to Tavernier. Nicholas is asking, transfer Timber to Gabriel. I mean, this has been my Achilles heel, which brings a smile to my face. I actually had exact cash last week to jump from Timber to Gabriel, and it couldn't have gone much worse. I chose not to do it, and Gabriel scored. Timber came close to getting an assist, did not return last week. And obviously, Gabriel has risen, I think, point 0.2, point 0.3 in price since then, and Timber has fallen point 0.2. So uh, I think there's quite a bit of a difference between them, if I'm being honest. I don't think I would be making that move right now. I think if you're buying Gabriel, you find another way rather than upgrading Timber. I think I would only sell Timber at a point where I feel as if he's at genuine risk of missing a game from Ben White. And until that happens, with the price difference now between Timber and Gabriel, I'm not exactly sure whether I would do it. It just feels a bit too late. Uh, Asad is asking one Hector replacement under 4.5 million. Well, that's essentially what I'm doing and what I've been thinking along for practically the entire sort of 2 to 3 day period after the deadline. I think I'm probably going to get Mukiele at that price, which you're mentioning, below 4.5, because Sunderland actually have a decent amount of fixtures and they've been quite good defensively this season. So I saw them at home to Newcastle. I think that was 4 to 5 game weeks ago, and then I watched them against City at home. And I did not actually have Erling Haaland in that fixture as a captain. And I was actually breaking it before the game because obviously Haaland has high potential to score in any game. But I was actually quite pleasantly surprised to see Sunderland at home being very rigid to break down. And Holland had one good chance in that game to score, and apart from that, there was not much else. So Sunderland's fixtures, home to Palace, then away to West Ham, and then home to Burnley, are such that I feel as if Mukiele, if you have the free transfers to move, I think I would do it. Only if you have 5 free transfers. I would not do it if you were even on 4. Um, Next question is how to become a top FPL manager like you. I mean, I'm just a FPL enthusiast. I won't like to consider myself being a top FPL manager. I just like to be very patient. Actually, I think um, I guess one of the good things about me and one of the bad things about me at the same time is the fact that I'm very patient and it can work beautifully at times. But when it doesn't, like it didn't with the Gabriel to Timber move that I was mentioning, it can look quite stupid in hindsight. So that's the way. I don't think there's one correct way of playing FPL. If you ask me, I just think FPL generally should be a game of patience, where I think what's most important is that you don't become too hindsighty in your decision making. And I think one of the reasons where I sort of feel at peace with FPL over the past couple of seasons in particular has been that once the deadline is over, I don't tend to react to outcomes. I just feel very insensitive and cold to outcomes because once I make a decision, at that point, if I'm content with the decision, then I feel as if I've done whatever was in my control, and then whatever happens, I just take it on the chin. Really, if it works, it works. Next question is when are you planning to bring Bruno and Palmer in? I might buy Bruno next week. I'm not sure. It depends on whether I have enough cash to jump from Cunha to Bruno. But Palmer ideally in Gameweek 24, I think, because I want to see a couple of weeks where he proves his fitness. Adam is saying, now it's time to appreciate you. It is first season for me, 3.7K. Yes, I have a totally different team of you, but I have learned a lot from you. Thanks a lot, BigManBakar. Thank you a lot, bro, for following the content and for your kind words. I couldn't be more grateful. Matty is asking, would you bench Minte to roll to 3 free transfers next week? Would mean playing Anderson. I think I would sell Minte actually. I think Minte is at that stage where if you don't sell him this week, he's probably going to be a sell next week as well. So I'd probably just sell him because he's going to be constant headache every week. Ekitike or Van Dijk first up. I think Ekitike is better than Van Dijk if that's what you're trying to ask. Should I start Dorgu or transfer out? I think Dorgu will start against Burnley. The fixture is nice, though he's fine to keep. Next question is from CHF Light. Does Tavernier worth the 0.7 million upgrade from Stack? I'm considering selling Minte to Stack or Tavernier. Oh, yes. I think Tavernier is for sure a much better pick than Stack. I think I was actually reviewing one of the teams this morning and I recommended someone to sell Stack for Tavernier. So I don't think there is a comparison because Tavernier's fixtures are quite good. He's on pens soon. I think once Semenyo leaves, I think there's a good chance he's on pens. So yeah, I just don't feel there's much of a comparison. JD saying, thank you so much, big man. Been following you since 2022. Felt really excited having you answer my questions. Thank you so much and all the best. Thank you very much for your support. I couldn't be more grateful. Um, I think 2022 was actually the first year where I started doing FPL full time. So it was a bit of a lucky charm, I guess, that you started following me. So thank you for your support. And if you have any further questions, please let me know, and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. Manish is asking, will you play Ekatike or bench him? And if bench, then who should we prefer to start? Anderson, Minte, or Mukiele? I think if you can sell Minte, I would sell Minte and just play whoever you get over Ekatike. Minte to Rogers, I think I prefer Tavernier because of the saving. Sebastian is asking, start Ekatike stack or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think I would start Calvert-Lewin out of the ones that you mentioned. Again, pens being the main reason. Nicholas is asking, keep Semenyo or sell to either Bruno Guimaraes or Rogers. I think keep Semenyo. He's going to start this week. Apparently, this is going to be his last game for Bournemouth. So I don't see a reason to sell him. Home to Spurs is fine. Spurs away from home generally are quite leaky. Over the season, they've been quite leaky, even though they kept a clean sheet in the previous away game against Brentford. But I think this is a fixture which Bournemouth should have fun in, and it's a good fixture for their attack. I don't have any of their attackers, and I feel quite jealous of the ones who do. Keane or Gehi to Thea? I think I'll probably sell Gehi because Keane's playing at home to Wolves. Raptor is asking, do you think Rupi starts this game week? I think he does. I think there's a fair chance that he might. I would be more confident next week actually, because that would be when Semenyo's gone as well, so he has less one person to compete with. This week it's a 50-50 decision. If you're sort of contemplating starting him in your team, I'm sure there are better options, and I'm not sure whether Rupi is good enough in terms of guaranteed minutes to warrant starting in your 11, if that's what you're trying to ask. Rick is saying, would you bench, or who would you bench out of O'Reilly, Dorgo, Wilson? Ideally neither, but if I'm benching one, I think Wilson. I mean, that means you have a really good team. If you're benching Harry Wilson this week, that means you have like quite a good squad. Next question is from Todd Rex. Who would you start? Two from Ekatike, Sopo, Anderson, Alderate. I think I would start Szoboszlai and Ekatike maybe. I mean, Anderson, Alderate, Ekatike just feels like a coin flip, but I would definitely start Szoboszlai because of penalties. Do you think Paqueta really starts? He was in training yesterday, and this is like a do-or-die game for Nuno, so I'm pretty sure he's going to risk Paqueta in this one. Next question is from Nenad. I'm on a wildcard. Would you go Rice or Saka with Gabriel and Timber? I think Saka. I would go Saka. I think if you were comparing and looking at the best options from Arsenal, now Arsenal are the best team in the league this season. We've had enough evidence of that. And if you're buying players from the best team in the league, you would ideally want to buy the best three players. And I think those best three players are Gabriel and two of Saka, Timber, and Raya. And I think Rice is actually fifth in that list, so I don't think I would get him over Saka. How about Ekatike to Watkins? No, I don't think I would get Watkins because structurally, I don't think that works well because we need money to be invested in defense and midfield. So Watkins is not someone I would personally look at. What is the chance of Barnes starting for Newcastle this week? I think there's a good chance because Murphy is out and because what's his name? Elanga. Yeah, Elanga wasn't in the squad in the previous game as well. So I think Gordon and Barnes, both their minutes look good this week. Kiu to Thiago, Haaland, Ekatike owner. No, I think I would keep Kiu. I've sort of covered this regarding Thiago. I think he's a bit of a short-term buy at this point. Big King is asking, start Ekatike or Alderate. It's one of those where, I am not expecting much from either, but I think Alderate has the higher floor, but Ekatike has the higher ceiling in terms of, if you can score, you can get like decent points. So I think I would probably just go with Ekatike. We have the last 5 minutes to come. It's been quite a busy stream. I think it's probably the busiest it's been this season, actually, because I don't remember a time where I've not even had a chance to catch my breath because the questions have been coming thick and fast. And I would appreciate if you could keep it that way for the next 5 minutes while I'm around. Colin is asking, play Dorgu or Gehi. I think play Dorgu. I don't think Dorgu's worth benching if he's playing Burnley. Going template or differential should be the strategy. I don't think you need to look at it that way. Just go for the team which you think will get you maximum amount of points. And obviously that would mean it would be something close to the template. But even in the template, there can be a few differentials sprinkled in here and there. Like for example, if you have 8 or 9 template players, having 2 or 3 differentials is fine, and that's eventually what will bring you up the ranks and make all the difference. Any further questions, guys? Please let me know. Colin is saying, appreciate all your FPL works. Bakar, cheers, my friend. Thank you very much, Colin. Much appreciated. Yeah, so I was talking about my team. My captain this week will be Haaland. Surprisingly, no captaincy option or debate this week. And I'm glad it's been that way, because even though Haaland is blanked 3 to 4 times, I'm glad that if I haven't received a question so far regarding the captaincy, it means that people are quite clear on going Haaland, and I think it should be that way. He's quite clear in terms of the goal scorer odds, and the home fixture of Brighton is such that he should get good points this week. Any chance of Bond starting this weekend for Newcastle? I just mentioned this, that Elanga's injured and Murphy's out, so I think Barnes could play easily. Also, is Palmer's worth prioritizing over Enzo and Foden over Cherky? How would you order these by priority? Palmer, Foden, Bruno, Saka. In terms of buying, is that what you're sort of trying to say? Is that the question? That if you're buying, who would you buy first? I think Foden is still a very good buy given the home fixture to Brighton and the fact that he's playing home to Wolves in 23. So I would probably have Foden first. Then I would have Bruno and Saka close to each other, and Palmer probably penciled in for Gameweek 24, because I don't see myself going there before that until he proves in his fitness. When are we going in on Chelsea? Not owning any at the moment. I think Gameweek 24 is the window. Us is saying switch Gallagher to Sanchez next week. I mean, I was just mentioning how our transfers are precious, and if you're using them to switch your keepers around, I'm not sure. If you have 5 free transfers, maybe you can afford the luxury. Any further questions, guys? Last 2 minutes to go. So for my team, I'm captaining Haaland. I'll be doing Van Hecke to Mukiele. I'll be rolling a 3-4-3 this week. I'll have Mukiele first bench. I'll have Virgil second bench, and I'll have Gio as my third. And next week, I think I'll probably be selling Cunha, and I think that's probably going to be the topic of discussion next week, where a lot of you will be looking at Man United's fixtures. Man United are playing Man City and Arsenal in the next 2 weeks. And obviously, Cunha at that price will be tough to justify, especially at a time when Bruno's back as well. So you might want to swap to Bruno if you're going for a United player anyway. Stuck with Voldemort and Ekatike, got 1 FD. Any idea? I think it depends on the rest of your team. It's tough to say without looking at the rest of your team. So sell Minte over Gehi to Thiago. Yes, I would prioritize selling Minte rather than selling Gehi. Thank you very much, Leonard. Good luck for the rest of the game week. I'm here for the next 1 minute. So if you have any questions, make sure to send immediately. Cunha versus City without Guardiola, Diaz. Yes, but it's still Man City, right? It's not like some random team. It's still Man City. But yeah, I think next week I might look at Cunha to Fernandes, actually. Start Anderson over Ekitike. Yes, I would start Anderson. He just has a very good, cozy floor of 4 points in every game. And this week, there's a decent chance of a clean sheet. And he's the sort of guy who doesn't have much attacking threat, but even if he gives like 1 assist, I'm pretty sure he's going to sweep the bonus, because he's always very high up for the bonus points, even without any attacking return. So if he gets anything, any assist even, that's going to make him sweep the bonus points. Start Anderson, that's answered. Start 1, Ekatike, Ward, Trafford. I would maybe go Trafford. Colin saying amazing amount of knowledge at the space, mate. Thank you very much, Colin. I guess I do this for a living, so I have to be somewhat decent at it. Manish is saying Minted to Enzo or Cherky, Minted to Tavernier is the answer. Sheriff is saying Ekatike or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I would play Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That brings us to the end of the stream, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't liked the video, please like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's been great chatting to you today, and wish you all the best for Game Week 21. And I'll catch you all next week. Good luck, everyone.